Hello everybody. We're back again. I keep saying that. I really have to stop. I've been doing that on my real farming series and here, and it's annoying me, so I'm sure it's annoying you. But uh, we are here in Farming Simulator again, but now we're on a different map. Um, a couple of you are probably wondering why that might be, as I would. And the main reason is that the new map, the map I was playing on, Rattlesnake Valley, has gotten a very major update that includes trains onto the map. And I was excited to keep playing on that map as part of my YouTube channel, but I decided that it would make more sense to come back to the default map. Mainly because I was noticing that we were using only the largest scale equipment on the Rattlesnake Valley map, where versus here you can see the fields are much smaller, which means that we'll be able to use the small scale equipment and really show this game. I'll be able to show you this game with all of its features, not just the ones towards the end of the, I don't know what you would call that, the progression, maybe. So yeah, we definitely have a lot smaller starting equipment here than we did on Rattlesnake Valley, and that's because I haven't adjusted any of the settings. I haven't changed any of the equipment, I haven't changed any of our starting funds. I literally created this save file not a minute ago, and well, probably about 2 or 3 minutes ago now. And that's because I want to play through this game as legitimately and as completely as possible, and take you along for the ride. So, starting off again, like last time, with a harvest, but as you can see, this one will only take a few minutes, versus the other one took, I think it was almost 4 hours in total. So, another nice thing about playing on a smaller map is that we're going to be able to get more jobs done more frequently, and so I won't have to rely as heavily on to time-lapsing things. Not to say that I'm not going to time-lapse at all, but I won't have to use it as my main way of showing you what's going on. So while that's going, I'm also going to transfer over here and get all of these other jobs started too, that way we can be multitasking. So you can see, even with a tiny little cultivator, this will still actually get done in a reasonable amount of time. Alright, so, but an important thing to note here is that I'm not going to be planting wheat like it has set on default. I'm going to hit the Y button and switch over to plant grass. And the main reason for that is my plan for this map is to try to play it a little bit less traditionally. So normally, how I've been seeing most people play this game on YouTube is they'll start and they'll harvest and they'll cultivate and they'll seed like I'm doing right now. But then they'll just keep doing that over and over, harvesting new crops and keep harvesting using the combine because that's the equipment they have available. And while that's great and all, I'm trying to go for a bit more variety. So I'm going to plant this grass, and then I'm going to buy all the equipment to mow grass, bale it, and wrap it so that it turns into silage. And then I'm going to sell that silage for a lot more profit than I would get from doing regular crops. And so that's what this guy is doing right here. And I'm going to switch back to the combine, because that's probably the most interesting part right now. And I'm going to start fiddling with the settings, because there's a few settings that I enjoy including when I play through the game that I think I'd want to talk to you about. So here's the general map. This is a fourth the size of Rattlesnake Valley. So if I scroll through back to the game settings, on easy, these are all your default settings. The time scale is normally on 5 times, but I like playing on real time so that I can keep track of what's going on. I'm going to leave traffic. Dirt, I like to make slow. If you speed it up, it tends to go a little bit more quickly. Automatic engine start, I'm going to turn off. That way I have to hit the button myself, like I'm turning the key myself. Stop and go braking, that determines if you come to a stop, if you have to then hit the backwards button in order to start reversing. So I like it so that if you come to a full start, you instantly start reversing, because that just saves time. I'm going to click the left button because that switches these all to their most difficult setting, because see, otherwise you can get all these extra machines? Settings. Thanks, brain. All these different settings for how you want the workers to refill. So I'm going to make it so that I have to refill all these myself. Plant growth, I'm going to turn that on normal until I decide to change that, which I may or may not do. Plant withering, my crops will not die if I leave them on the field. And periodic plowing, every 3 times I grow a crop, I will need to plow the field. Fertilizer states, I'll need to fertilize my fields 3 times. Save all those settings, and you can name your save game whatever you want, but because I have several, I'm just going to help to clarify it for when I'm fiddling with things. I'm going to name it YouTube. Save it again, and see, now it says to overwrite. As for other things, another point to note is that on the default Goldcrest Valley map, this is the map that comes with the game, not a mod, the prices are different than they are on Rattlesnake Valley. So we're going to be making slightly less money per the same amount of grain on this map than we would the other. Although I'm playing on a non-modded map, I am playing with a lot of modded material unrelated to the map. That includes some modded trailers, vehicles, and I guess scripts, you would call them. Things that make the game behave in a different way than it would normally. And all of those I've made sure are not ones that make the game any easier, just make it take less time. So I've for right now decided to not go with a mod, for example, that reduces the price it is to buy farm animals, because I think I can see them. No, I can't see them from the in-game shop menu here. But the farm animals are usually in the thousands of dollars by default, whereas the mod changes them to realistic prices to be in the $500, $750 to $1,000 range, depending on the animal. And although I may change that to be less expensive once I am deciding to buy animals, animals are going to be a long way in the future from where we are right now. So with all that explanation done, I think I'm going to speed up the rest of these jobs, and I will be back. Hey guys, so we finished all the jobs that we set out to do, and I figured I'd end this episode by showing you the first little bit of the map. So, as you've probably already seen, we have this little farm here, but I'm going to give you a full tour. So, we have several vehicle sheds to store our vehicles in, and there we have seed and fertilizer, and those bits in the middle are the liquid fertilizer. This is just a little decoration shed. Another vehicle thing, storage place. Up here is the barn where we will be selling our silage, hay, and straw. And as you saw during the time lapse, this is where we can store our grain, which is thankfully a lot closer to our fields than it was on Rattlesnake Valley. So, the only 3 fields we own are the ones right next to the farm, 12, 14, and 15. But eventually I hope to expand out to grab fields 19, 24, 23, and 22. So that's going to be the field to our left. Here, this little one, which is perfect for growing root crops, because root crops tend to produce a lot of volume, of produce, and so it can be kind of difficult to deal with it all. So having a small field to grow root crops on is going to be really nice. Here there's a railroad crossing, and I'll show you the train some other time. But here field 23 is pretty sizable, as well as 24. And that'll just be basically to expand a farm of the size we currently have. But if I head out, you can see that there's kind of like a highway here, a main road that connects the east and west parts of the map. This map is definitely a lot more closely knit than the Rattlesnake Valley. And even though it's a smaller map, there are still some sizable fields, like this one over here, field 20, which I may or may not be getting. But one large field I am going to be getting for certain is in the upper right hand corner of the map, field 5, the largest field on the map, and it goes for approximately $1 million. Now, you may be thinking that's a pretty lofty ambition to be going for and planning for on episode 1. But I do have a plan, and that plan involves a little something that, although maybe a little unrealistic, is a big part of the game, and that is the gold nuggets, which are, I've actually missed the turn a little bit here, spread all across the map. And there's a few of them right by our farm. And so, towards the end of each episode, my plan is to show a little bit of the map, kind of tour around, and collect a few gold nuggets. That way we're not doing all of it in one episode. So, that starts today. It's kind of funny how this farmhouse, you know, just like somebody's home, I guess our home, has parking spaces for the cars, and in this case a tractor, and like its own sidewalk. But over here is the chicken coop with free chickens, and the first gold nugget is in here, right behind the coop. You've discovered a gold nugget. Seems like there's some gold to be found in this region. Try to find the remaining 99 gold nuggets. Once you find all 100 gold nuggets, you get a hefty reward of $1 million, and I'm going to plan to spend that money on field 5. But that seems like it's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching, and to close this episode, I'd like to give a shout out to the tree that blocks the sun from shining in my eyes on my way to school most mornings. There's a particularly dangerous turn with a lot of traffic, and the sun would be completely blinding if it were not for this one superhero tree. Thanks, hero tree. This one's for you. Peace off.